Hello, hello.
Hit it, hit it.
Hi there and welcome to the show. I'm Nancy Guppy here at Georgetown Stables, and we have a terrific lineup for you this week. Take a look. Dani Tirrell shines his light. Bob Ross lives on. Shonda Rhimes discovers Julia Quinn.
I'm coming heavy-handed.
And a debut record from Gypsy Temple. We'll begin with Dani Tirrell, a choreographer and dancer and self-described movement guide who is about to premiere a brand new work.
I'll be in the grocery store and just start dancing. My husband gets so irritated. Dance is joy. It is breathing to me. I latched on to dance really quickly when I was younger. You know, I had a family of singers. I had a family of people that moved their bodies. It was just natural for me to move my body. And then I realized I could be, and I didn't understand it at the time, I could be as weird as I could be in dance. Because it's like, oh, you're a dancer, and kids were okay with that. They weren't so okay with the queerness, but they were okay that I was like a good dancer and I knew all the popular dances and I could teach it to them. I felt comfortable in my weirdness, which I didn't understand was like gay and queerness at the time, but I was just weird, but I was okay with that because I could dance.
And a 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 5, 6, 7 and 8 and a 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 5, 6, 7 and 8 and boom. Next 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 5.
I teach in hopes of passing down oral traditions, movement traditions in the African diaspora. I teach people of color and black children predominantly so they can understand what's possible in the world.
5, 6, ready, let's go.
If you're coming to me to learn particular dance steps, that is not what you're going to learn. You're going to learn about yourself. It's about building self-esteem. It's about discipline also. So as you're building self-esteem and you're trying to be like, you're great, also like, that wasn't so great, do better. And we're so afraid to say that. Like, everyone gets an award. Like, no, you're not gonna get an award with that.
Well, that was rough. So, here, there has to be a smoothness to it. Y'all gotta pay attention. 5, 6, ready, and.
You have to always be great, and not for other people, but for yourselves. And we don't tell people that. You know, it's like, oh, get the applause on stage. And so we get the applause, and we always get the applause. And the moment we don't get the applause, then we, oh my God, they don't like me. It's just like, no, because you were after the wrong things. So I'm teaching about, like, when you applaud yourself.
5, 4, 3, 2, relax.
The new show that I'm working on is called Fag God. I was curious about HIV and AIDS and how it's not a bigger conversation that it was when the epidemic first hit us back in the 80s. During the 70s and 80s especially, with gay men, there were bathhouses. And so that was a sanctuary for a lot of men, a safe space for a lot of men. They could go be as free as they wanted to be. And it was also a place of death. So places of sanctuary and places of death. I'm a person that likes to dance and likes to go out dancing. And so disco music, and people would go to the clubs. It was a place that people was like, oh, this is my church. The DJ was your pastor. The sermon came out through the music. And how these people brought us to a place of safety and love and concern, but also like they couldn't stop the spread of HIV and AIDS also. There's me as the solo dancer, but I'm working with two spoken word artists, Na Akua and Na's wife, Anastasia Renee.
I've been re-listening to a lot of 80s music and watching live 80s concerts because a lot of the people we're talking about were in those concerts. They were at American Bandstand. They were in the Solid Gold audience. Some of these people are actually dancing their heart out. They're dancing through heartbreak. They're dancing through sorrow. They're dancing through sickness. They're dancing as a way to resist and persist.
And lesbians, bushes, dykes were kind of like the backbones through this. Like, if you are seen as the untouchable, I'm here to know that you are held. And that there is somebody there that is present for you.
How can I communicate to Black people so that we start to look at each other? We start to see each other.
For me, when I collaborate with someone, I'm like, you have free reign. This is the skeleton of what I'm thinking about, but other than that, I cannot tell you what stories I want you to tell. So it's going to be interesting to see what we birth out of all of this.
Dani's new show premieres at Langston Hughes Performing Arts Institute on Thursday, May 16th. Seattle is a book town, lots of readers around these parts. We're also home to a number of successful writers, and one of them is the hugely popular Julia Quinn, who joins me now. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So we're going to get to the super exciting deal with Netflix momentarily, okay? But let's start with what you write, which is historical romance novels.
Yes.
So in a nutshell, for anyone who doesn't know, what is historical romance?
Probably better to begin by defining just what a romance novel is.
Good, okay.
To be a romance novel, to be in the genre of romance, as the way it's defined now in publishing, it has to center on a couple. It begins with them meeting or re-meeting, and it has to end with a happily ever after. And that's it. How you get from point A to point B is completely up in the air, but the romance has to be the A story.
And then where does the historical piece come in?
Right. So a lot of romance novels are set in contemporary times, but a lot of them are set in historical times. And the most popular one right now is The Regency, which technically is about an 8-year period in the early 1800s in Britain. It's what most people think of as the Jane Austen time period.
Gotcha.
And I think it's become so popular because it's far enough in the past that it's got kind of a fairy tale quality to it. But it's modern enough so that the people behaved in ways that are fundamentally understandable to modern readers.
I see. Now, obviously, you're a New York Times bestselling author, over 10 million books in the U.S. alone sold, translated into now 31 languages. Did you start out writing romance, or did you begin in a different genre?
No, I always wrote historical romance. It was what I like to read.
Right.
And it's interesting because I've heard people say to me, oh, you know, I want to be a writer, so I think I'm going to practice on a romance novel first because those are easy to write. And I'll say, oh,
yeah,
you go for it.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think if you don't love the genre you're writing in, it's going to show. As with any type of genre fiction, you really have to be aware of reader expectation.
Okay.
So, for example, if you're reading a mystery novel, it's got to open with a dead body. Somebody's got to solve it and figure out who did it. And think about how upset you would be if you were reading Agatha Christie and at the end, Hercule Poirot was just like, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. Sorry.
I would not be happy.
No, you would not be happy.
I would not.
And it's the same thing with a romance novel. You have to give people that happy ending. You know, you still want them to go through the emotional journey and to have that moment where they're kind of like catching their breath and excited, like, how on earth is this going to work out? But they know it's going to work out. And that's part of the reason people choose to read them, because they know they're going to get their happy ending.
Right. Now, when I was younger, I read The Flame and the Flower. Do you know that? Catherine Woodowitz?
Kathleen Woodowitz,
Kathleen
yes.
Woodowitz. I loved it. Okay, the heroine, Heather, passive. Brandon, the hero, dominant. In other words, there was no Me Too movement in that story. You have gone a completely different direction on that. So maybe talk about how your heroines, they're strong.
Well, I think To answer that, you have to look at the evolution of romance novels. And the book that you brought up, The Flame and the Flower, is universally considered the first modern romance novel.
Really?
Yes, and it was a monster hit. And one thing it did differently than any other book was that it did not close the bedroom door. However, in this book, the hero rapes the heroine.
Right.
And then eventually they fall in love.
Yes.
This is not a trope you would see in any romance novel written today.
Right.
For a long time, one of the only ways you could put a piece of art out there, or commercial type of art, whatever, where a woman does enjoy her sexuality, is to have her talked into it or forced into it, or at least have tried to stop it.
Right.
I tried to be a good girl.
And then discover it.
But then this happened, and then I discovered it.
Yes, right.
By the time I started writing, and my first book was in the mid-90s, there wasn't a whole lot of that anymore. And my books were always going to have women who are not passive. But at the same time, I write within a certain time period. And it's a time period in which women did not have nearly the same rights that they have now. So it has been a challenge to figure out, how do I write women who are not passive, are working towards what they want, but within the framework of their society.
Right. Let's talk about your fans, because most authors don't get mobbed at airports or bookstores, but you draw crazy crowds, like I think in particular in Brazil. Is this right?
Yes. Brazil, it's like another planet. They treat authors like rock stars there.
Yeah.
I don't think it's just me. The first book signing I did in Brazil actually was in Manaus. And when I got there and looked out, there was this line of people across the bookstore and then down these stairs, and they started shrieking. And it was just like that at every stop on the Brazilian tour. I'd go to a mall, and we'd have to wait for security to come to get me to the bookstore through the mall. And
what is it about your books, do you think, that fans or readers go so cuckoo? Because they do.
Again, I think they like the humor.
Yeah.
I think they like the family dynamics. And I think I write nice guy heroes for the most part. Every time I try to write a bad boy hero, he goes ahead and does something nice. And I think there are a lot of women out there who would like to be treated nicely. The covers, I just want to jump on that real quickly. The covers, how important is that image on the cover, and do you have any say on the cover art of your books? I always say to people who bought my first book with the first cover that was on it, thank you.
Because it was goofy? Or you didn't, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was, I saw that and was like, what? You know, it was your typical clinch, you know, he doesn't have a shirt on.
Yeah, kind of Fabio-esque.
Although I have never had Fabio on any of my book covers.
All right, let's talk about the big news, shall we? Yes. So, your Bridgerton family series is heading to Netflix, and with Shonda Rhimes executive producing. And Shonda Rhimes, of course, many people know, Grey's Anatomy, creator of Grey's Anatomy, Scandal, so many credits. So how did this happen, and why this particular series, the Bridgerton family series?
How did it happen? Honestly, I don't know. But
really? You just got a call.
I did. I was sitting at Starbucks, and my phone rang, and I looked, and it was my agent, and he said, I just got a call from somebody at ICM, which is International Creative Management. He said, Shondaland is wondering, you know, they asked if the rights were available to the Bridgerton series, and I said, they're available, let me see if she's interested. And I was like, oh, yeah. Wow. Because I mean, yeah.
I'm almost speechless, and I didn't get the call.
I was just like, well, first of all, you have to understand that for a historical romance series to be optioned for television or movie or anything is enormous. So nobody ever looked to them as source material.
Right, and yet she did.
And yet she did.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on all of your incredible success. It's very thrilling, and I really appreciate you coming in and chatting with us.
So much fun.
So you can learn a lot more about Julia Quinn on her website. You can buy her books pretty much everywhere. And also the Bridgerton family series is coming to Netflix soonish. We don't know exactly when, but it is coming, so we'll keep you informed on that. All right, my dear, thank you so much. Shall we do a little cheers? Cheers to Julia Quinn, to Netflix, to writing, to life.
It's funny because sometimes people call me the new Bob Ross and commenting on my videos, and it's actually an honor.
We got a happy mountain.
Because he was a great man, he was kind, in his videos, and he was teaching a lot. It's cool, and it's great. I guess I'm the new acrylic Bob Ross, because he would paint with oils. Hi everyone, my name is Feliks Kaparchuk, also known as Colored by Felix. I was born in Rostov, Russia, and moved here in 1997 with my family. It wasn't until after high school I was really serious doing art. In the beginning, I was actually doing modeling in New York and Seattle area, and that was my main job. And I realized that it's not going to last forever, so my wife encouraged me to open an Instagram page focusing on art, and it took about like a year and a half, and it just started exploding. In a year, it grew all the way up to over 600,000 followers, and it's mind-blowing. It's insane, it's amazing, and it's still growing. And then I'm gonna just fill in some of these areas. That led to opening the YouTube, and then YouTube is at 75,000 and it's still growing, about like 500 followers a day. It's crazy how fast it's growing, and it's happening all under 2 years. What inspires me to create? A lot of things actually. People around me, colors, nature, God, just everything that is around me every day. So every week I post 4 times to social media, a video tutorial on YouTube, and on Instagram I post my art and time-lapse videos. So people enjoy time-lapse videos because I believe it's quick, it's under a minute, and it gets straight to the point. Just have fun, take all of it, start in the middle, and just spread it everywhere. Today we're doing a workshop here in Studio Life. I promise you guys the fun part is coming, and we're learning how to use acrylics. As you go down, you just make it a little wider, right? I do workshops every now and then. I'm new to it, so I'm still, trying it out. When I started painting, I learned this new technique, this blending technique, using this fluffy brush. It's almost like a makeup brush, and then barely touching. And it's an easier method that I've learned, and I believe it could help a lot of people. So I feel like if I could share that, I just feel this reward where when they learn something or they take that technique and start using it, I just feel like blessed, feel like encouraged, joy. Like it's almost better than just receiving something and get that hype and then it's gone, the next day. Take this blue, remember we mixed right here? This purplish color, I guess. And let's put it underneath. To hear the great feedback, how many people write like positive feedback and how it encouraged and uplifted and how they changed their mood throughout the day, it's amazing. I think that's what keeps me going. We're all here for each other, I believe that, and if we can help each other out in any way, the gifts that we have to inspire and help each other uplift, to make somebody smile, and then, I think that's incredible. It's just a great feeling.
Follow Feliks on YouTube, Instagram, and on his website, coloredbyfelix.com. So delighted to welcome Gypsy Temple to the Art Zone stage and the irrepressible Cameron Lobby Jones.
I haven't heard a dictionary even say that word. That's amazing.
Mr. Irrepressible.
I'll take it.
So good to see you.
Good to see you too.
So we have some catching up to do, but let's start out by meeting the band, and let's start over on the far right.
All right,
here.
well, on the 5-string electric cello, it's Corey Cavazos.
Hey, Corey. How about this guy?
Over here, we got Martin Creed. He's the newest addition, playing some guitar with us.
And the Seattle Sonics.
Right.
Sure, you gotta love that.
You gotta represent.
Right back there.
Over hitting every skin on earth is my boy Kai Hill.
Hi, Kai. Great to see you. And, of course, to your left.
And my co-pilot and main man in charge is my boy Hamoon Milaninia. Yeah, thanks.
You guys did a cool thing, and our event director was talking about this. In 2018, you did a Get Out the Vote high school concert
The
tour,
Make Your
right?
Voice Heard Loud.
Right, so 80-ish schools, 3 months. Did you get the result you wanted?
We got over 3,200 people registered to vote, so I would definitely say yes.
Wow, that's so great.
Yeah.
Was that your idea?
Yeah, that was us. We were just like, well, because we got the idea, we played a couple of shows in Montana on a flatbed, and we were like, why not just do this back home? And ended up thinking we needed to really use our platform for something good.
Yes. And that is something good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all know that. All right, the new record, King Youngblood, there it is. This is a promo copy.
Yes, yes.
It comes out in May. 11
for Nancy
songs.
only.
For me only.
All right.
And I asked you to describe the record, and you said authentic, raw, and I think, what was it? Nothing like you could have dreamt of.
Yep.
Does that pretty much capture it?
I would definitely say that's it.
Yeah. Are you happy with it?
I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, yeah. Is it kind of a new, is it taking it to another level in terms of what your sound is?
Definitely. I think we're doing a lot of evolution, especially since the last time we saw you. And I feel like this, especially this configuration, this is a bunch of dudes that are really in there for the long haul.
Right, right.
And that's
the most
what's
important
up.
thing. Everyone's committed. Right?
That's what it is.
Well, we're very happy you're here, and I know you're going to play us 2 songs off of the
King
record.
Youngblood, yep.
And what is up first?
The first one's our most crazy, ridiculous one. It's Heavy-Handed.
Heavy-handed. I love that. I love a heavy hand.
Yeah.
So, are you ready, band, to
Yeah,
do this thing? Are you ready?
We got the guitars. We might as well do
Well,
something.
why not do it?
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, they are Gypsy Temple.
Take your time, 'cause what you said ain't mine. And I don't know what you mean, 'cause you changed my mind and my dream. You don't know the way to go. You won't say it anyway. I am strong, but not for long. I'm not dead. I'm coming heavy-handed. I don't know what you mean, because you changed my mind and my dream. And I just want you to know that you changed my mind and my flow. You don't know the way to go. You won't say it anyway. I am strong, but not for long. I'm not dead. I'm coming heavy-handed.
Gypsy Temple's debut record, King Youngblood, will be available worldwide on Friday, May 17th. Also, the band has released 3 music videos, and you can watch them all at gypsytemplemusic.com.
Hi, I'm Andy Stein, and I'm curating this week's calendar of events. First up is Urinetown, the hilarious Tony Award-winning musical satire, which takes on capitalism, populism, local politics, and musical theater itself. The plot involves a city which, suffering from a drought, imposes a fee on its citizens every time they take a pee. I'd go broke in Urinetown. Urinetown runs through May 26th at ACT Theater. Moving from the strange to the more strange, let's saunter over to Abmeyer Wood Gallery in downtown Seattle for a peek at a showing of Alessandro Gallo's clay sculptures. This Italian-born, Montana-based artist fashions normal human bodies with normal human clothes and accessories, and then gives them a realistic animal head. This show takes anthropomorphizing to a whole new level. The exhibit runs through June 1st. Next up is Seattle Style, fashion function at the Museum of History and Industry. Sure, there's plenty of rainwear, but also a man's utility kilt, a woman's fancy pink and black strapless gown, and these shoes. Oh, if only I knew how to walk in them. Showing at Mohi through October 14th. And lastly, I'd like to tell you about a film that I co-wrote and co-starred in with Olan Jones and Jim Turner called Shelf Life at Northwest Film Forum. It's the final feature made by legendary director Paul Bartel, who also made Eating Raoul, scenes from The Class Struggle in Beverly Hills, and Death Race 2000. Shelf Life is about Tina, Pam, and Scotty, who are taken down in the mom and dad's well-stocked bomb shelter when Kennedy is assassinated in 1963, and they never come out. 30 years later, mom and dad are long dead, and the now grown kids have created a life for themselves based on remnants from the 60s, intermittent output from the TV, and their wild imaginations. Shelf Life screens Saturday, May 11th, followed by a cast Q&A hosted by our very own Nancy Guppy. Nancy, where are you? Come here.
I'm right here, Andy, and I'm looking forward to it. And that does it for us. Thanks, as always, to Georgetown Stables. You can learn more about this place, including how to book your event at georgetownstables.com. And thanks to you for tuning in. Have a great week. We'll see you soon.